When you begin using Paramify, the first thing that we'll do is we'll take your existing SSPs and ingest them into the Paramify platform. This is done using AI and the data ontology that Paramify has built out so that we can quickly get the SSPs from a written Word or PDF document into a digitized form in Paramify. Oftentimes this takes days or weeks to get an SSP live and digitized so that it can be then managed as a digital platform and can be viewed by agency-wide officials and can be generated in OSCAL machine-readable formats. We'll show you exactly how we create and generate SSPs in Paramify.
So the ontology of how Paramify works is based off something that we call solution capabilities. And one of the big success criteria that you guys had pointed out and that we had also, solidified was the ability to change something once and have that map or change everywhere. So one of the biggest burns that we see with ISSOs is right now you could have the Okta component, we've talked about that before, where that appears 30 to 40 different times in a single FISMA SSP. Now, a lot of times this Okta component becomes more of an enterprise, control, an enterprise common control, where that same thing could map to, let's say it was 100 systems. So when you guys change the Okta component from Okta to another SSO and MFA tool provider, you guys literally are right now control find, go into the Word document, make that change, and now go find all the spots, all 50 spots in that SSP, and now go track down the other, let's say it's 50 SSPs and make that change out. It's an extremely manual process. With Paramify and this solution capability ontology, you're able to make that change once and have that change map everywhere. So where those live is right here in the implementation tab. If we come in here to solution capabilities, you guys will be able to see a list of all the different solution capabilities that we have located here. Now, if for example, I wanted to make a change to access agreements, I can click into access agreements and see this is the text box that's going to appear directly inside the SSP. Now, there's kind of two ways that we can do this. When we ingest and bring all your systems in, we can either, keep the existing response that you have and just digitize the SSP and give you automation that way, or you can adopt this common control concept, which you guys are already more or less doing with your different parent and child system format, where we create these capabilities. And this is just a simple text box where you guys can come in here and make any change that you guys want. And on this bottom right-hand side right here, you guys will see view mappings. You're able to click in there and you see this specific solution capability maps 17 different times across this 853 Rev 5. And so by making that change inside of Paramify, that's changing all 17 spots in this SSP or this system, and then every other NHTSA or DOT system that leverages this similar capability. And so this is really what's going to reduce, we've seen SSP management times reduced up to 90% by different ISSOs and different teams by adopting the solution capability, change it once, map everywhere model. This goes the same for evidence and artifacts. Attach evidence at a solution capability, and that evidence and artifact is then included at all the other spots where it's applicable. So it's an attach once, map everywhere model. And so as you guys look for ways and you explore solution capabilities, I think you guys will start to see the huge benefit that these things can bring and why so many agencies and enterprise organizations are now adopting solution capabilities, because it gives them that top-down level reporting and the change once, map everywhere.
So each program will represent one system. In this case, we're in NHTSA, and we have a program here for the recall database. And so coming in here, we can see a dashboard of implementation status by the control family. And we can see what's implemented, what's planned, what's not implemented based on each control that's applicable. We can also set the data types for each system based on the FIPS 199 information types and security impact levels to help determine what security objectives and what security impact level each system should have, which will then control the controls that are applicable at that baseline. If we need to, we can adjust the selection of controls by adding additional controls or removing controls from the base set. There's a lot of customization we can do here, but what will happen is then we'll have the applicable controls that this system needs to meet for the SSP to generate each of these controls. The other thing to note is that each of these parameters can be set either at that agency-wide account level, or we can set it down at the workspace level, depending on what's necessary for the system. And so for this, we'll pull in any baselines that come from FISMA about the low, moderate, or high parameters that should be set. And we can automatically configure those based on the SSPs that you guys have and that are stated in the FISMA requirements. So once these parameters are set and we have the control selected, we'll build out the solution capabilities based on the tools that you use and the SSPs that you have written. The solution capabilities can be found under the Implementation Solution Capabilities tab. Here's what a solution capability looks like. This one is talking about how we could use Okta as a way to access the AWS Identity Center. In this case, we have a part that's implemented and a part that's planned. We can assign out reviewers, and we can adjust the text and have everything tracked in an activity log here on the far right side. We can have review notes, and we can have approvals to mark things as under review. We can set a target date for when we would like things to be implemented and leave remarks about how it's going, and then we can map each statement out to many different controls across the different compliance frameworks that are applicable. Paramify helps auto-calculate these so that your solution capabilities stay up to date with the requirements that you need to meet. These solution capabilities then provide the way to generate the SSP, which is done within the program deliverables. So you get to that by navigating in the top to the program that you'd like to generate an SSP for, and then on the left-hand side to the deliverables, and then go to attachments, where you can see all the different appendixes that we're able to generate. And so you can just simply toggle on if you'd like that attachment to be generated. So in this case, if we want Appendix A, we can go ahead and toggle that on. If we wanted security policies and procedures, we can toggle that on. Any of these ones that we'd like as appendixes, we can go ahead and toggle that on to generate, and we'll just mark that as in progress or complete so we can tell where we're at in terms of this SSP. Then as we come to Document Robot, this is where we'll create each revision, and we can do this as a Word document, PDF, we can get it into EMASS, but we'll go ahead and just create that revision here. And this will take all of those implementation statements, the evidence, and all the things we've put into Paramify, and we'll process it into Word, PDF, and OSCAL. And so once this is completed processing, we'll have a ready SSP that is complete and accurate based on the data that we've brought in. And so if we simply download this, what you'll see is it bundles it up into a zip. And this zip file contains the appendixes that are relevant, as well as the SSP. Here we go. So here's our policies and procedures that we generated for this. Here's the CIS CRM that we've filled out. We also have here Appendix A that we toggled on and selected, so we can pull that up. And as we look at this, what you'll notice is that each of these controls is filled in based on those solution capabilities that we defined, which give the digitized control over the SSP, so that the implementation status, control origination, and the statement about how it's implemented is all managed from one enterprise platform as opposed to lots of different Word documents floating around. All these SSPs are also created in OSCAL so that we have a machine-readable base that we can ingest and use in different tools. The power of risk solutions and solution capabilities is that it is a do once, use many, or describe once, comply many, across multiple systems, multiple agencies. So the value here is that in one statement, we can be very clear about the responsible roles, the origination, what's inherited, and the end user responsibility. And then we can map this out to multiple products, multiple requirements, and across multiple frameworks, so that we have one source of truth of the solution capability that then applies out to many controls. This is important because when we look at the dashboard, we can see the solution capabilities as a whole, independent of each of the compliance requirements that is necessary. And so instead of having to worry about the 451 controls we have, we can worry about a reduced set of solution capabilities that describe the core security practices that our organization is doing, which helps reduce the burden of managing each individual requirement, because the ISSO only has to care about the things that they are doing and describe accurately the capabilities that they provide for the system, which then are mapped out to each control so that every individual control is satisfied, but you don't have to manage it in a one-by-one way for each of the 400 or 500 controls that you have for the system.